Hello everyone, it is Lucy and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a thrift haul, a little bit of secondhand shopping. I've had some very exciting purchases that I've been planning and gradually accumulating for a couple months now. So I've been wanting to talk about it for a hot seckaroonie because they actually had to come from Japan. Now that I have them all, I can talk to you about all of them and how I got them and show and tell time. Yay. So this video is actually in partnership with Bai. This is the second video in a little two-part series. So if you haven't seen part one yet, I do recommend you go check it out. But in summary, part one of this two-video series was all about how to use Bai. So if you're looking for some information on how to use Bai, if you're interested in Bai, if you haven't used it before, then I definitely highly recommend checking out that first video because it's a guide. But today, if you're just interested in seeing the goodies and you'll go back to the guide later, completely get you, but I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on Bai and how it works. Bai is a proxy shopping service. That just means that you can pretty much buy anything that you want from Japan. You can use Bai to shop from a variety of Japanese websites like Rakuten, Amazon Japan, and Yahoo Japan auctions, which is where I got all of my goodies from today. Essentially, you can shop on these websites via Bai, and then those items will be shipped to Bai's warehouse within Japan, and then it can be shipped to you internationally. I've popped a link in the description below for my personal Bai sign up link, and if you sign up using that link, you can get a 2,000 yen coupon code. It has been such a pleasure to work with Bai on these two videos because it is a service that I already used myself, and then they saw my video that I already made about them and reached out to me and were like, do you want to work together? And I was like, please. Forever. Yes, I'm a lucky little rat girl, so I wanted to share with you some of the goodies that I got from the Yahoo Japan auctions website. I was already familiar. I've already done a video where I got a couple of bits and pieces, but this time I had a really good strategy going in. I was already familiar, so I got some really good stuff. So let's just jump into it. Okay, so the first piece I want to talk to you about is something very sparkly and exciting. And this particular piece is actually a bag from Furla. And I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Furla. I just like how their designs are quite minimal and not too over the top. And I think we talk a lot about investment bags and things like that, but when it comes to buying yourself a really nice quality leather good, I think theirs are really great quality and they do tend to have a look to them that doesn't tend to date as easily, in my opinion. And so for that reason, Furla was actually the first brand that I bought my fancy big girl bag from when I was just in uni, but I was working a corporate job casually. I had been wanting to get myself a nice office work bag for girl boss life. It was 2015, okay? I was still very much in my climbing the corporate ladder era, but I then happened to be on holiday somewhere and they had a Furla store and they were having a 30% off sale and they had the bag I wanted, and that was kind of my first, I was about to say impulse, but I had been planning to buy our bag and those bags were kind of in the category, but to me at the time it felt very impulsive and I put the money down and I felt all flushed and hot, and then I realized later that I probably actually had food poisoning, so it wasn't actually the impulse spending that was making me feel fevery and hot and excited. It was that I ate something weird. I just wanted to tell that brief little story because all to say I have loved Furla for a long time, but I also really loved the Metropolis bags from Furla. They're these super cute little bags. I'll pop some pictures of Metropolis bags up there. I'm sure you've seen them around before or you might recognize them, maybe. I think they're their most popular style, but where I could justify my big girl office bag, these smaller, kind of less practical, or I don't know, just smaller bags, but similar price point, I was like, oh, don't think I can do that. Bit too expensive for me, can't justify it. And in particular around the holiday season, they would have these really beautiful glittery ones. And I love those the most because they're the least practical and the most princessy glamour vibes. And so of course I liked them. But one of my favorite things to do is be responsible with my money. So I decided not to part with my money and several hundreds of dollars for one of these bags because as cute as they were, I was like, not right now. That's not something I can justify right now. All to say, when I was recently scrolling on Bai, I do check the Furla section pretty regularly. There's not as many listings for Furla as there are for, your big designer brand like Louis Vuitton. So I check back in every now and then just to kind of see what they have, and they tend to have kind of a assorted array of just random bits and pieces. But one day I was scrolling through the Furla listing and I was scrolling and I just so happened to find this bag. This is a Metropolis bag in the exact style. It is the exact one that I was obsessed with when I was in uni. And they actually stopped making this type of Metropolis, I think, altogether. I think they have like new styles now, which are also really cute. Furla, hello. Just quietly sending a telepathic message to Furla head office. Hello, I love you. So when I saw this, I was obviously like, but I was like, no, wait, I need to check. So I went onto the listing. I'll pop a little picture up here. This was the listing, and I went and I had a look at it, and I looked at different photos, because in the photos it was kind of hard to tell if the hardware was gold or silver. And I was kind of saying to myself, I don't really want it if it's like gold and silver. I really kind of just want a silver one. But I checked the details, and it was just kind of the reflection in the photos that was making it yellow, but all the details that were translated from Japanese to English, which Bai does automatically, which is pretty cool. It was basically just like, yep, it's all silver. And I was like, sick. And I just love the silver and the sparkles and like the chain, and you can obviously like make it a little bit shorter as well. It's truly, for me, just an ideal like holiday sparkly evening type of bag. Like, it's just so cute, and I do feel like it's a quite classic style to me anyway. You know, it's not overly like branded or anything like that, which is kind of my preference typically. This bag was around $50 Australian, and I thought $50 Australian, that is, I think, maybe an 1/8 or a 1/9 or a 1/10 of the price of what these went for. I'm pretty sure they went for something around 400 Australian, maybe a little bit higher, which is why at the time, and even still now, I'm like, okay, that's really nice, but I'm not sure I can quite, you know, justify that. But 50 Australian dollars? So yeah, that is the first thing that I bought and wanted to show you. I hope you enjoyed my brief-ish story time, and it just felt really lucky and coincidental, and I'm very happy because we're about to come into the holiday season with all the sparkly shiny things, and I have my sparkly holiday bag. Absolute slay. Okay, so this next one was kind of an absolute fluke, but I'm very, very pleased about it. Essentially, I was on Bai and I was using the search term for silk, and maybe with the category skirt, or I was using the search term silk skirt. You get the point. I was looking for a silk skirt, and that is because I recently got a skirt from Depop, which is from Realization Par. It's 100% silk. You've probably seen me wear it in like an Instagram picture or something like that. I'll see if I do have a picture of me wearing it, but it's very, very good. Very much like it. And I thought I would really like it if I had a midi version of that. Now, Realization Par do have a midi version of that skirt, and I was considering purchasing it, but it's definitely up there. I think it's like 200 and something US dollars. I just wanted something of nice quality. Like, I really like the silk as a fabric as opposed to something like a satiny polyester, because I wanted to be able to wear it in like the warmer months. Just also generally where I live, it can be pretty warm. So I wanted something that would be comfy to wear. It's a staple. You get it. You probably have seen all the styling of like the 90s looks with those midi skirts as well. That's what I was on the hunt for. So I found this, and obviously here it does not look particularly exciting or dynamic, but I will insert a clip so you can kind of see what it looks like. Now, this is probably one of the best deals I'm going to be talking about in this video, because this skirt was $2.24 Australian. I will include the listing. Now, you do have to put fees and shipping on top of that, but the fact that we started with a base at $2.24 Australian. So this skirt is 93% silk with 7% elastane on the outer kind of part of it, which, you know, is nice because it has a little bit of that floatiness and a bit of shaping on the boot, but the lining is also 100% silk. So we got several layers of juicy, silky goodness. It's from DKNY. I wasn't particularly looking out to get one from DKNY in particular, but you know, I'll take it for $2.24. I'm not mad at that at all. And this is also the first time where I've sort of ventured into buying stuff outside of accessories and tops on Bai, because I just get a little bit nervous, because obviously sizing is the kind of thing, and you know, it's getting shipped overseas. So I tend to be more comfy with buying bags and things like that because they're safe items. But this does fit me really nicely. It's very pretty, and yeah, it's a great staple to have in my closet. Like, I have, you know, checked off that closet essential, and it was starting at $2.24. Okay, so this next one was kind of a mistake. Not really, but let me tell you what happened. Essentially, what happened was I was looking for cashmere, I think, and this one came up, and I was kind of intrigued. I was like, Giorgio Armani cashmere. And it was starting at 1,000 yen, which is about $10, $11 Australian, and no one had bidded on it yet. So I thought, wow, 1,000 yen for a really nice high quality cashmere jumper, that's a very good deal. I'm sure it won't actually go for that, but also no one's bidded on it yet and it didn't seem like it had many saves. And so I thought, well, I'll just put a snipe bid in for the 1,000 yen minimum so that if no one bids on it, then I'll win it. But that won't happen because someone else will surely bid on this because it's a very good deal. But then I won it. And then I kind of got an email being like, congratulations, you won that Giorgio Armani cashmere for $11. And I was like, I won the what? And then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I did do that. Yes, okay. I really didn't think I would win that, but I'm glad that I did what I did in the past because I was correct in that it is an insane deal. And it's weird that no one else bidded on it. I do feel that this color is a little bit different in person than how it looked online. I do love how it fits and looks on me though. Like I just feel like it fits me in a really nice way, but I just don't know if the color's 100% for me. I'd love to hear your input and thoughts because it is so soft and buttery and delicious feeling. So, you know, even if I decide ultimately that this isn't meant for me, then someone else will be very, very happy about it. But it's a really, really cute piece. So a lot of the items that I've managed to successfully win on Buy, I kind of like sneak in at the end and snipe it, or it's like a very particular style of piece that maybe other people aren't as into and I'm like one of the very few people interested in it and then I get it. This is not one of those pieces. This one I actually did have to put up a little bit of a fight for. A mild, pretty tame bidding war, but I would say there were other people bidding semi-ferociously at the same time as me. So mini backstory again, but I have been really into the Prada Clio bag. This bag I just think is very cute. It's a very me style. It's kind of mod 60s, but also futuristic. It works for me. It's my type of dealio. I do not have one, believe me, but I love it. I think it's very beautiful. And I also really like the Gucci Jackie re-release, which has come out more recently, or it's been promoted more recently. And it is essentially a updated version of the classic Gucci Jackie bag. However, so far, all of the Gucci Jackie bags that I've seen, apart from being like very expensive, they all have gold hardware and I just don't really love gold. It's a bit of a deal breaker for me, to be honest. I say deal breaker like I was in the market to buy one of these. I was not, I am not, but I like them. You know what I mean? Like they're in the, you know, my mental Pinterest board of like bags that I enjoy thoroughly. I was looking at some Gucci bags and I clicked on one. I was just having a look and I had this category at the top that said old Gucci, and I was like, old Gucci? That's kind of interesting. And I clicked on it and it's basically all of the kind of 90s, 2000s style Gucci bags. And I was having a look and I saw one and I was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of like the Gucci Jackie, but it's like an older version or like a different version. It's the original or one of the older versions of the Jackie they did. So it had that similar preppy vibe to it and it had a similar shape. And I ended up bidding on one and I got one. It was a little bit of a bidding battle, but I ended up getting one for around $230 Australian. And here she is. I think the price I paid for this is really great because she is in pretty much, I wouldn't say perfect, but like very good used condition. Like someone clearly used this bag and loved it, but they were very like respectful in its use. But let me tell you, I can fit so much stuff in here and it doesn't like look bulky or like overfilled. It just looks really nice. And I'm not really one big for like logos and brands, but there is something about like a particular vintage monogram that's like maybe not made as much anymore. So this one does have, and I don't know if you can see it, let me hold it up here. It's a little bit lighter in the camera than how it kind of is in real life, but just so you can see it. It's got like the old school Gucci monogram, but if I bring it back here, you can't really see it. It's really subtle. So I'm typically not a monogram girl. It's typically not my thing unless it's like so obnoxious and like almost McBling Y2K princessy kind of vibe that I think it's almost like funny / camp. And I love the little hardware detail here. Again, it's sort of like the new version, but that's more of a like horse bit kind of vibe. Whereas this is a bit more, I don't know, it's kind of funky, but you can kind of hold it like that and it the pin comes out and it unlocks. I've realized now I've shown you 2 black pieces already. I think that's all the black pieces. Don't freak out. I think the rest are pastel. But I just really enjoy like mixing these kind of pastel-y colors with black in those like cooler months. It's such a funky, fun, classic bag. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I know it's different for me, but I was just intrigued and you know, I wanted to give this bag some additional love, a second life, and now it's home here with me. Listen, I do realize what I've done here. I bought this one in between bidding on and then subsequently winning the short-sleeved blue cashmere turtleneck. So I maybe accidentally bought 2 quite similar items, and believe me, I was a lot more worried and feeling very silly that I'd done that when I thought that the turtleneck was lighter and a similar color to this. Then I was feeling really silly. You can tell I was on the hunt for like a blue knit and I was looking at, you know, cashmeres and wool. But luckily these are quite different. This is obviously like a nice big jumper and that is a, you know, fitted cashmere short sleeve turtleneck. So I think we can agree that they're different enough that I don't have to go to silly dum-dum jail. But regardless, even if I did buy 2 similar-ish items, I still think functionally they serve different purposes. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. This is from a Japanese brand, I believe, called Spic and Span. I'm not familiar with this brand, or I don't really know a lot about them. They're still operating today, so I think this is from a couple years ago. I got this for around 30 something, 35 Australian dollars. So very good because this is a 95% wool, 5% cashmere jumper and it's in very, very nice condition. It's been worn maybe a couple of times. I have washed it as well. So either the person before me who was wearing this already like treated it or they didn't wear it that much. Regardless, it's in very nice condition and I'm very happy with it. Unfortunately, it is warming up a bit here again, so I don't really know when I'm gonna have a chance to wear this until it's cool again, or I am somewhere cool, which would be nice. I think these jumpers retail from Spic and Span, specifically this brand, like $100+ I want to say like 120 to 150 and up Australian dollars, and I got it for 30. And so I think even if you're not into designer brands, this is just kind of a more general mall fashion brand in Japan. That's a really good deal. So this next item is definitely in the category of item where I've been on the hunt for one for a while. I had been looking for a vintage style Burberry skirt. Specifically, I was looking for a midi one. I wasn't overly fussed about like the fabric or style because they have some more summery ones and they have some more wintry ones. So I've been looking for ages. Buying skirts or pants or anything like that, a little bit harder than just buying like a baggy jumper or a bag. So there were a lot of times where I would find one that I was quite keen on, but then I wouldn't be like 100% confident about the sizing. But I came across this one, which on camera looks very almost like orangey red. It's kind of more of a scarlet, crimson, watermelon, dark watermelon red, multiple describing terms. And I will say this is one where it looked a lot more pink, more magenta-y on the listing. IRL, this is like a cool toned red, which I'm totally okay with, especially because it's this very cute classic vibe. I do wish sometimes that I lived somewhere where it was cold during the holiday season, because this is not like the most perfect festive-y holiday kind of skirt. It's a 95% wool blend, so it's got a little bit of elasticity in there so it can kind of stretch and fit nicely, and it was 34 Australian dollars. This fits me so nicely. Like, I'm so happy about the fit. In fact, I was so happy about the fit that when I kind of got the items and I tried it on, because I was like, I can't wait, I need to know, because it's like a more fitted style skirt, and I was like, if this doesn't fit me, it's gonna be a bit sad, but like I just want to know now. But it does fit me and I felt really good about it. So good that I decided I would wear it out to breakfast that I had on with my mum and my brother, and I basically walked and took public transport all the way to meet them. And we sat down and we had breakfast and they were like, love the skirt, looking good. And so we finished breakfast and we were walking down the street and my mum was like, Lou, I can see your underwear. And I was like, oh, maybe I wore a particular kind of underwear that weren't seamless and didn't, you know, look good with the outside of the skirt, like you could see the line. And so I was like, oh, that's my bad. I probably didn't wear the right, you know, underwear for this, but that's okay. Like not ideal, but you know, not the end of the world. It's fine. I'm about to go home anyway. And then my mum was like, no, Lou, like I can see your underwear. So this skirt, as it's pencil style, has this little like slit up the back. It actually started down here, but I clearly was legging it when I was, you know, walking and taking the bus. I'm an efficient walker. Do you know what I mean? I'm an active lady. And so clearly at some point, and the worst part is I don't know at what point, between me leaving my house and going out for breakfast, I tore the back of it. So it's absolutely not the fault of the garment, because it's definitely fitted on me. And I do have a big booty, and it's pre-loved, so it's already probably got a bit of wear in it. And looking at it, I can see the point where it started to come apart, but it doesn't seem to have like a lot holding it together. So I am going to take it to my queen tailor seamstress lady for her to like sew and reinforce it, because I need it to contain my powerful booty and my powerful thighs. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that that happened because it was kind of mortifying. It's the kind of thing where this like height of split, if it were on the side of the skirt, it wouldn't be a problem, but just because it's like right up the back, it just kind of went up to like the bottom of my bottom. Anyway, I'm sure it will be fine. I hope it will be fine, but cross your fingers for me, because I really, really like this skirt and I think it looks really good and I would like to continue wearing it. So next up we have another skirt, and I was so nervous about this one fitting as well. Maybe not as nervous as the last one because this one's got more of a flare to it, but when it came, I tried it on and it fits really nicely and it's so cool, and I just can't believe that I found this. I just feel very lucky. Again, it looks kind of reddy on camera, but this is like a bright pink. So this is a like low rise or like mid-waisted, low-waisted skirt from Miu Miu. And Miu Miu is probably one of my, like, I say favorite, like I buy things from these brands. I'm not really at the point where I'm doing that, but in terms of like aesthetically, what speaks to me and in terms of vibe, I really, really, really like Miu Miu. And it was like $45. I was like, I've paid more than that for a really bad tennis skirt that doesn't fit me well. That's from like a random drop shipping brand. And you're telling me I can get one for $45 from Miu Miu in my favorite pink color? Are you for real right now? Now I looked at the listing and it did say it was damaged / dirty. And I was like, ooh, not sure if I love that. But it arrived. I genuinely do not know what the damage / dirtiness of it. Like maybe there's this tiny mark here. Like there's a couple of really small marks on it, which I suppose is the damage, but they're so minor to me because it's such a bright color and it's such a faint little mark that I'm like, surely that's not what they're talking about, but I think it is. But you really, again, it's very similar to the Furla where I'm like, I suppose if you look carefully like I'm looking now, I'm like, okay, I do see a couple of marks. But if you like wear it or you just kind of hold it, you wouldn't see those. Like it's not really noticeable in any way. But anyway, I tried this on and it's just like so cool. And I want to play with how to style it. I'm happy to take your suggestions. I'm thinking like oversized white shirt or like jumper. So the skirt is kind of like covered a bit because it's a very like statement kind of skirt. And I think it peeking out and also being like kind of weighed down a bit by like something thicker because it's quite voluminous. I think that sort of looks cute. It's definitely a synthetic. It's some type of polyester or something of the like. However, while synthetics aren't necessarily my favorite, you can get nicer quality synthetics, if you can say that. Like, you know, there's a scale from like the cheapest polyester to like the nicest polyester. And I would definitely say this is probably like the nicest synthetic material. It's really like structured and it almost has this like luminescence and like gloss to it. And in real life, it makes for a very like striking piece. I definitely need to play with its styling, but I just thought that was like such a cool find. And I felt really lucky that it does actually like fit my hips and fit me nicely because I was quite nervous about that. But yeah, now I have like a little bit of Miu Miu in my closet and like how fun to have this piece. It's so slay. Okay, so now we come to the last piece that I want to share, secondhand thrift. I don't know if you would technically call this thrifting. I wasn't planning on getting this. It was the last item that I purchased out of the whole bunch. I had gotten, you know, the Gucci bag and the little Furla, and I was like, all right, Lucy, no more bags. It's not gonna be a very interesting video to just talk about bags. Should get some other things and whatnot. But then this item came up and I was like, oh, and I had a little bit of extra money in the budget to spend. And if you follow me on Instagram and have seen my Instagram stories or potentially a recent like outfit post, then you probably know what this is. But it is this. It is a Coach pillow tabby in like the ombre design. I did put a story up on Instagram kind of asking people if I should get it or not because I was on the fence. And as a Libra, I just needed, you know, the power of the vote the power of democracy to kind of sway me into getting it. And actually, you know, the thing with Libras, let me know if you're a Libra and you feel the same way. Sometimes you just need to have people tell you to pick one. Like you give them the two options, like you go, oh, should I get chocolate or vanilla? And they go, get chocolate. And if you're disappointed, then you know that you don't want chocolate and you actually want vanilla. So if everyone voted yes, and then I was like, but I don't really want to, then I wouldn't have gotten it. But the majority voted yes. And I was like, okay, I agree, I should get it. So it kind of meant that I probably already did want to buy it, but just needed that extra little. And the reason why I was so taken by this particular bag is when the Coach pillow tabbies came out, I was like, oh no, they are so cute. Like I was really into them, and I don't think we'd gotten them in Australia yet. Like they hadn't started selling them in Australia. And I don't even know if we have a Coach store in the city here. And I was chatting with Alex, my friend. If you don't know Pretty Pastel Please, I'm sure a lot of you do, but we will chat about bags and stuff a bit because we're both into them. And I was like saying to her, like, do you like the pillow tabby? And she was like, yes, I'm so into it. And I was like, me too. And Alex had actually gotten one, and I think it's in the color pistachio. It's like this little one, and that was like the exact like one that I was like most into. And then she was very sweet and offered for me to borrow it for one of my looks for Fashion Week, because we kind of swapped a few shoes and whatnot back and forth, because we actually have the same shoe size, which is so handy. And so I very gingerly took it out, and I was like very careful with it because I thought it was so cute and I didn't want to wreck it. I was a bit scared. And I was talking to Alex about it because I'd like obviously used it the whole day, and she's like, so what do you think? Like, do you still want one? Like, you know, and I was kind of like, you know what? I actually don't think I do anymore. They look like puffy, they're like pillowy and puffy and cute. And so you think that's really big, but actually that's all padding, and the inside of the bag is quite small. And it can fit maybe your card case and like a lip color and your phone. But even my phone, it like the top would almost like strain a little bit over it, which I was like, like I didn't want to like stretch or anything, but I was like, oh, it really has to be quite like slimly packed. I don't know, you just assume that the inside would be a little bit bigger looking at the size. And then we were both like, maybe the big one is actually like a really nice size and can like fit a good amount of stuff in it because it's a little bit bigger, but it looks so big. Anyway, point being, I was like, okay, kind of like fell out of love or lust with the small tabby bag, but I was like, I'd be really interested to see what the big one's like. And then I saw they had these like kind of sky blue, like pistachio-y green big ones. And I was like, oh, they're very beautiful. So I explored. I was like, how much are the big ones? Because the small ones are, you know, they're up there, but I was like, you know, it's reasonable. It's a nice quality bag. I felt it, I've touched it. You know, maybe the big one's like a little bit more. No, the big one was like $1,000 Australian. And I was like, oh, I love you, but I'm not sure I love you that much. Peace out. Nice to see you. Maybe if I find one secondhand. And I actually did look secondhand multiple times for different pillow tabbies. I was hoping to get it for a steal, but I know they were quite like a popular it bag. So I'd actually set an alert for Coach tabby on Buy. So it was a lot of the more classic tabby, which I quite like those too. Actually, I think they're really cute. But I was like on the hunt for the pillow, and I was hoping the pillow would come up. And then this one finally came up, and it was 295 Australian, which is definitely, you know, it's a little chunk of change, but it was 70% off retail price. And I'm pretty sure when I was reading the description for this one that they were basically saying it was a display model. So it was like the one they showed in stores, and it was from a really reputable seller that I bought from Bai before, and I'm actually familiar from their like physical locations in Japan. And this one, compared to all the other ones, when it arrived, it came with a box, a dust bag, like everything. So I'm very, very confident in this one being authentic. I'm pretty confident in everything being authentic. Like I'm not too concerned about any of those things being fakes necessarily, because a lot of them are very like random slash like older items slash less popular to be duped items. Maybe the Gucci bag, but like again, it's like a more old style, and I know they made dupes of those too, but you get my point. I'm like, probably not the most likely candidates. But this one, I was like, well, it's new, it's popular. I don't doubt that maybe there would be copies of it, but it just came with everything, like the authenticity cards, the booklets on care and everything like that. And I know replicas can come with those too. I felt the real thing, like the small one, and this feels the same. It's got the same details and everything. And I've taken this one out for a spin a couple times, and I love it. And it's such a fun like colorful piece, and I just feel like it works really well with denim and white, which come like summertime, or a lot of colors I wear a lot. And on the inside I can fit like all the stuff I need to fit when I take out a bag. Like I can fit my card holder, I can fit my phone, I can fit, you know, some bits of makeup, and it's not like bulking out the bag, which is my kind of concern with the little one. So yeah, that's kind of my fancy purchase. I suppose they're all a little bit fancy, but because they're, you know, vintage pre-loved items, you know, that have been worn or maybe have a little bit of damage to them, slash I've gotten them for a really good deal, I'm kind of like, okay, well, like they're a really good bargain and a really good deal, but they're not like super bougie. But because this one is essentially like a new bag, I obviously got it for a really, really good deal, but like, I don't know, something about this just feels like indulgent, like it's a real treat. And I was also fully expecting this to be bought before I could make up my mind, because I waited on it for like, I want to say like a week plus, like from when I saw it to when I purchased it. Like I wasn't sure, but yeah, it just didn't get purchased for some reason. I mean, I kind of know why. I think like typically the buyee users, from what I've seen, like what bags are the most popular in terms of fitting tend to be your more neutral, very classic bags, and this is like very much not that. So if you're like me and you like kind of colorful pieces and stuff like that, you can get really lucky on buyee, because they just don't get as much interest in terms of listings. I'm really jazzed about this one, and I can't wait to play with it, especially because we are coming into the warmer months, and like this is just, I already am like, I'm gonna style it with you, I'm gonna wear it with you, I'm gonna wear it with you. So that is everything that I got in this little like secondhand haul from Japan, thrifting slash designer slash consignment slash, I don't really know how to describe it, but yeah, those are the deals and the pieces that I got, and I accumulated them over a couple of months or something like that, obviously in preparation for working with this buy and doing this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like these deals and kind of pieces that I was able to get are very much a testament that I recommend you to check out Buyee. So you can check Buyee out by heading to their website, or you can sign up using my link in the description box below, which if you do, you can get a 2,000 yen coupon, which, you know, as evidenced by some of the deals that were less than 2,000 yen, that can help you get something kind of funky and fun. I wish you all the best for your bargain hunting and your deals and steals, no matter what your style is, what you're interested in. And if you do happen to find anything or get anything from Buyee that you feel like is really cool, please feel free to like DM me and share with me, because I'd love to like see your deals, because like, the thrill of the hunt, the thrill of the deal, the steal, it's just so good. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!